These are the things that we're doing to get to the root. Conditions changed. I'm just going to abbreviate. So, we want to eliminate every single thing that we shared yesterday. And I'll be emailing you that list. Were you here yesterday? I don't think you were. You here in the beginning when we were talking about all the... Okay. Yeah, they started it early yesterday because of the meeting down below. So today, when I get home, I will email you yesterday's health class lecture notes. And there's a list of everything that we should eliminate from our diet. Including, let's say somebody has brain cancer, okay? But they're still using regular shampoos. That's something you need to discuss with them. Because where's those chemicals going? Straight into the brain, right? Through the pores? Yes. So these are things that we need to look at, and it's on that list. Everything is on that list. Okay? Number 3, wrong habits corrected. You know how we would do this? This is something that I feel would fix this. Apply all the what? All the laws of health. If you apply all the laws of health, you've corrected your wrong habits. And also slouching, we've talked about that. And we're going to be covering proper posture. Did you guys know, I told you voice culture is another law of health? Okay. Number 4, now we're going to get to assisting nature. Assist nature in her effort to expel impurities and to reestablish right conditions in the system. So this is where we're going to cover the treatment and what you can do for all this. This is where the cleanses and the herbs are going to come in. So, if you want to write this down, they say the more you write, when you listen, you see and you write. What's that called? It starts with a K. It's a type of learning. And when you do all 3, it penetrates more in your mind. Okay. Number 1, an herbal colon cleanse. Anyone who has cancer, herbal colon cleanse is excellent. I like Dr. Schultz's intestinal formula 1 and 2. Dr. Christopher, there's a brand for him. Danny Vieira has the Almighty Cleanse. And then I will see what is the cheapest and be economical with our funds. You can't understand what? They can't see it anyways. This is for you guys. No, on the camera. They can't see it. This is just for us. They really can't see it. But it says an herbal colon cleanse, and I'll print. Okay? Now here's the treatment. We're going to mop up the water. Treatment. TX is treatment. HX, what did I say that was? History. Oh, you know this. DX is what? Diagnosis. And SX is what? Symptoms. If you do S/SX, it's signs and symptoms. Okay? So we're going to do the treatment today. No, but I can put it. Okay, I will put that on there. S/SX or SX by itself, this stands for signs and symptoms, or that by itself is symptoms. Yes. Okay. All righty. Okay, so one thing I wanted to say, there is a cure for cancer. And I'm going to use the word cure because the prophet of the Lord uses the word cure. We should not be afraid to say what's in our books. There are people around the world, no matter what the cancer is, that are surviving every day because they are adopting these principles. And the cancer is going away. And how many did we say would survive? 9 out of 10 would recover. That's right. I want to read something to you in a book called The Divine Prescription, page 335. I want to let you hear what a doctor says about cancer. It says, methods of dealing with cancer. Is there a cure for cancer? That's the question. Dr. Barry L. Line says, finding a cure for cancer is not the problem. The cures for many cancers, if not most cancers, exist. Now, this is a doctor saying this. But they are not offered to the patient who has cancer. Being legally permitted to use an alternate cancer therapy is the problem. Dr. Robert C. Atkins says, there is not one but many cures for cancer available, but they are all being systematically suppressed. The average cost of a cancer treatment is between $50,000 and $75,000 and rising. The financial incentives make a major change in cancer treatment for the nation almost impossible unless determined leadership from other sources forces such a change. Cancer deaths have risen steadily in the past 30 years and are climbing 4 to 5% annually since 1960. Some doctors admit that many patients die from the treatment. One cancer specialist said, if an inexpensive replacement for chemotherapy were found tomorrow, all U.S. medical organizations would teeter on the very edge of bankruptcy. If they were to come up with a remedy of chemotherapy, just by giving that chemotherapy up, they would be on the edge of bankruptcy. If they came up with a natural treatment in the place of chemotherapy, just by giving up chemotherapy, we're not talking about radiation and all the drugs, just by giving up chemotherapy, they would be on the brink of bankruptcy. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of a water sheet treatment, cold sheet treatment. We'll be talking about that a little later, but that is known as the natural form of chemotherapy for cancer patients. And it's water treatment. And the prophet of the Lord tells us we should be doing water treatments. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing. Garlic. Kyolic is good, the liquid, if you don't want to make your own garlic juice. Garlic is excellent for cancer. It's antibiotic, antifungal, it kills. Very, very good for cancer. I'm not going to tell you guys exact amounts. You can do your research, but flaxseed, like for garlic, you could do 3 to 6 cloves, 10 cloves a day. Just do your research and see what you think is the best, because some people say this amount and other people say that amount. Do the research and see what you think is the best amount to give. But garlic, a minimum of 6 cloves, 3 to 6 cloves minimum a day. But some people do way more than that, and they use kyolic liquid. There's a lady, Dr. Lorraine Day. She was a trauma doctor in San Francisco. I think it was St. Francis Hospital. I used to live right across the street from there. My grandma had cataract surgery there. She got cancer, and she had a lump this big on her chest. A grapefruit size of tumor came out of her chest. She refused the chemo and the radiation. She did it all natural. She started learning from Adventists after she prayed, and this shrunk. Her cancer went away. She talks about the garlic. She has a video called Cancer Doesn't Scare Me Anymore. If you guys can get the video, it used to be available on YouTube and Google. It's not there anymore. If you can get that video, watch it and share it with people you know who have cancer. I don't have it. I loaned it to someone and they never gave it back. I have to get another one. Okay, flaxseed. Flaxseed oil and also flaxseed. Put a couple tablespoons a day in your food. A couple tablespoons, 2 to 3 tablespoons of flaxseed oil a day. This is also called linseed oil. So if you hear them say linseed oil, they're referring to flaxseed oil. I thought these were two different. They're one and the same. Excellent for cancer. That's right. Very good. Linen is made from flax. And I believe that I came to the same conclusion. I believe you're correct. Now, linseed oil is the name that they use for this. There was a doctor, an Adventist doctor, who came to the Lancaster Church a few years ago, And I was working at the time as a nurse in the field, and I needed some questions regarding some things. And the Lord sent me to that church on a Sabbath. I said, Lord, I'm not going there. But he sent me. And this doctor was there speaking. I was so excited. And he was speaking on cancer. And he talked so much about the linseed oil. It was from him that I learned that these are one and the same. And he said, never treat a cancer patient without this. So flaxseed oil. ESiac Tea. Anyone heard of ESiac Tea? This is called the ESiac Report. This is an excellent book. I read this whole book. Who's heard of President Kennedy? His doctor was Charles Bruce. Charles Bruce was a doctor here in the United States. And ESiac is Case, C-A-I-S-S-E backwards. The lady's name was Renee Case. She was from Canada. She saw a lady who had breast cancer, and her breast cancer was gone. And she went up to the lady and she asked the lady, what was your secret? How did you get rid of your breast cancer? And the lady told her, the Ojibwa Indians from Canada wrote down 4 herbs for her. And she took it, and the cancer went away. So Renee asked the lady, what are the herbs? And the lady wrote the herbs down, and these are the herbs they were. I didn't put my bookmark in here. And I'll show you a picture of Charles Bruce in a minute. I'll tell you a little bit about him. Charles Bruce was John F. Kennedy's doctor. Charles Bruce, I'll tell you a little bit in just a minute. Let me just find these 4 herbs. I thought I bookmarked it. Okay. Burdock root is the first herb. Yes. Slippery elm bark. Let me see, I skipped something here. Sheep sorrel is the first herb. Burdock root is the second herb. Slippery elm bark is the third herb. And rhubarb root is the 4th herb. This lady put the concoction together. Her auntie got cancer. She gave her auntie the thing. They left her auntie to die. Her auntie lived another 20 years. The doctors in Canada, they started finding out about Renee. She was at her home. She had cots on her front yard. People would come to her. She'd give them the tea twice a day, and the cancer would go away. Doctors heard about her. They were sending their patients to her.
I'm sorry, you said through the questions, but did they change their diet at all, or did they just stick to tea?
I believe from what I read, they were just doing the tea at the time. But let me continue for just a moment. So doctors started researching this, and they would send their hospice patients to her. They were all living. And the diabetes was going away, and all this pain was going away just off of this tea. Well, they tried to throw her in jail. And the police officer who was sent to her house to arrest her, he saw her paperwork and stuff. He secretly took her aside and said, my mom is dying of cancer. Could you help her? He did not arrest her. She gave him the formula. The man, there's so many testimonies in here. Anyways, they shut her down. She wasn't getting any money for it. She was doing it for free. They shut her down. They threatened to take her home and everything. Several years later, I want to say 20 years, 30 years later, a doctor named Charles Bruce. He was John F. Kennedy, and there's a picture of him in here. He had so many certificates and licenses, and I mean, this man was he had to be John F. Kennedy's doctor, right? Now, let me show you a picture of him. He heard about Renee. He brought Renee to the United States of America. He asked her, here he is with John F. Kennedy, right here. He was John F. Kennedy's doctor. They started testing mice. Then he started testing his patients. Cancer was going away in everyone. Then he got cancer himself in the 80s. And I have the recording. He was on a radio broadcast with this lady here. She's a radio broadcasting lady. Her name is Elaine Alexander. He was on her radio show in 1980s. He said,